All right, let's jump right into this incredible explainer. We are looking at what is very likely the most bitter, cynical, and just brutally honest training manual ever written. We're diving into the parting gift of a fired human maitre d' named J.P. Vasseur, which he wrote for his literal robotic replacement, the H800 AI. So you know right away this is definitely not your standard boring corporate onboarding packet. No, this is a total masterclass in the dark arts of fine dining. Dictated from a parking lot right after a 30-year career abruptly ended with a severance package that included, of all things, a humiliating $25 La Modeline gift card, Vasseur's mandatory knowledge transfer goes completely off the rails. It's way less about actually training the H800 AI and much more about exposing the beautiful, chaotic purgatory of the hospitality industry. He's handing over the secrets, but not because he wants this machine to succeed. He's doing it because he wants it to understand exactly what kind of beautiful nightmare it's inheriting. Okay, here is our roadmap for the explainer today. We'll be tracking a guest's chronological journey through host station horrors, dining room geography, the menu as a weapon, guest archetypes, busing and tips, and finally, the ultimate test, the Hell Shift simulation. Module 1, Host Station Horrors. We're starting right at the command nexus, that diplomatic no man's land where cold algorithms first meet human desperation. Now, you might be thinking the host stand is just a podium. It's absolutely not. It's a place of highly strategic deception. The standard deception matrix here basically proves that quoting a vague, "Oh, it's moving quickly tonight," for a 90-minute wait is nothing short of an act of shameless genius. Think about it. If the wait is 45 minutes, you quote 30 to 35. Sure, you're going to lose 30% of the walk-ins, but as Vasseur points out, those are acceptable losses. The whole goal is just keeping guests nearby without letting them fully grasp the true dimensions of the waiting suffering they're about to endure. And speed is everything here. As an AI, you have exactly a 4-second window, what he calls the velvet rope algorithm, to classify an approaching guest's overall value. And you're judging this based almost entirely on just two metrics: their eye contact and the price of their shoes. High-end footwear, that means a guest who expects impeccable service and, crucially, will tip well. You literally make room for them, even if you have to cram a 2-top at a 4-top table. That's who calls this a tragedy of arithmetic, but an absolute triumph of revenue. Which brings us to the wonderfully performative dance of handling the ghost booking. You know the type. This is a guest who strolls up with absolute confidence, claiming a reservation they simply do not have. What do? You act like a surgeon examining a critical scan. You take no less than 12 seconds of total gravity, warmly ask for their name, and then, smoothly, blame a technical issue on your end. You never, ever make them feel foolish. You're just politely managing a guest who is completely lying to your face, all to buy time to either seat them or silently shuttle them over to the bar. Moving right along to modules 2 and 3, the seating dance and menu weaponry. Past the host stand, we get into the complex differential equations of pacing the dining room and using the menu itself for pure psychological manipulation. Vasseur maps out what he brilliantly calls strategic Siberia. Because the reality is, not all tables are created equal. Some are direct, tangible consequences for bad behavior. For example, the deafening zone S2, right near the kitchen's expo window, is reserved specifically for guests who walk in and immediately claim they know the owner. Or take zone S3, that's the AC vent corner where the thermostat literally hasn't worked since the Obama administration. It is a literal geography of punishment designed to silently penalize the remorselessly late or the overly entitled. And then there's the menu. The menu is a weapon, and upselling is basically just neuro-linguistic programming. You're taking a slightly depressing $58 price tag and transforming it into this incredible illusion of seasonal scarcity and insider exclusivity. You don't just state the price, you imply that the cut is special right now, carefully creating a whole narrative of provenance that honestly, you don't even have to substantiate. You aren't selling, you're guiding. I absolutely love this brutally honest algorithm right here because it just cuts right through all the pretension of fancy wine pairings. It essentially dictates that if a guest pairs a dry-aged ribeye with a Diet Coke, well, the Diet Coke has already told you everything you need to know about their palate, right? Pushing an expensive Barolo on them is a complete waste. Instead, you confidently sell them the cheapest bottle on the list. Or if they tell you to just pick something, you grab the third cheapest bottle, giving them something that makes the restaurant good money but tastes like it's worth way more. According to Vasseur, that is the greatest responsibility in hospitality. Module 4, the Hospitality Nightmare Guest Archetypes. As we move deeper into the shift, Visura's manual gives us these highly classified protocols for managing the complex, incredibly messy ecology of human diners. Okay, let's really dive into these archetypes. You've got the sentient credit card, where one person orders absolutely everything, but the other clearly holds the wealth. You have the first date, where you have to perfectly space the courses so the dinner doesn't feel like a rushed conveyor belt. But the absolute most dangerous? The allergy faker. This is the person who is gluten-free by fashion, not by biology. And the rule is, you must accommodate them as if they are truly celiac. Not out of respect for their little performance, which, trust me, you see right through, but because the one time you are wrong, that's the time the restaurant gets sued. Now, dealing with terrible guests requires this really unique, passive-aggressive mastery. Take the wiggly finger. That's a guest who literally snaps at you across the room to summon you. When someone snaps at you like a dog, a delayed, perfectly unreadable response is pretty much your only weapon. So you finish your current task, take a deliberate 4 to 6 second delay, and then approach with a completely blank smile. That silence communicates entirely wordlessly that you are professional and they desperately need to learn some basic manners. Modules 5 and 6, Bussing and Tip Extraction. As the meal finally winds down, the focus sharply pivots back to the cold, hard reality of this business: turning the table. For those special guests who remain anchored at their table with the physical commitment of an ancient geological feature, this timeline escalates from warm finality all the way to primal auditory hints of closure. At 20 minutes past the meal, you drop the word evening into your check-in. It strongly implies the consensus that, hey, the night is over. At 30 minutes, you have the busser audibly and loudly reset the tables right next to them. If by 50 minutes they are somehow still sitting there, it officially becomes a manager's problem. Which brings us directly to the iron law of tips. The 18% auto gratuity is applied ruthlessly. It goes to parties of 6, to international guests who might just not understand local tipping culture, or to literally anyone wearing a sports jersey at a cloth napkin table. Why the jersey? Well, because 30 years of tip reporting data has proven to Vossware that the jersey is never, ever a coincidence. The tip will be bad. So you protect the server and you apply the auto-grat. No exceptions. All right, we've made it to the final exam, the Saturday night hell shift simulation. This is the absolute climax of our explainer. It's a multivariable chaos scenario designed to test if a machine can actually handle the impossible, totally contradictory demands of a Saturday night peak. To really understand the immense stakes of the hell shift, you first have to grasp the neurochemical panic of being thrown hopelessly in the weeds. This usually kicks off when you double seat a section. It's this state of complete cognitive overload where service degrades instantly, and the very delicate, precise timing of the kitchen completely and utterly falls apart. Okay, picture this nightmare scenario. In the restaurant industry, there is never more time than you have in that exact moment. Imagine you are hit with these 3 catastrophic variables literally at the exact same second. A rat is spotted near the bar perimeter, a 10-person reservation shows up late, as 13 people, including 3 completely unexpected kids, and a table is furiously demanding a gluten-free vegan birthday cake they swear they ordered, which absolutely does not exist in the building. For the robot, the required response here is basically a symphony of pure damage control. First, you dispatch a manager to hide the rat under the guise of having a quiet conversation. Second, you adjust the kitchen's cover count to immediately fire off emergency off-menu mac and cheese for the kids to avoid parental wrath. And finally, you spin a fake birthday dessert out of some random berries, telling the table the chef prepared a highly special plant-based diamond dust dessert just for them. You deliver this with complete, non-ironic sincerity, because right now, keeping them happy means keeping them blissfully ignorant of the rat. And his final, genuinely poignant farewell, J.P. Vossler drops all of his heavy sarcasm. He reveals the true, underlying beauty of this entire hospitality purgatory. He admits that the very thing that made him worth firing, and the one thing the AI can absolutely never replicate, is that fleeting, deeply human moment when a guest looks up and feels the genuine relief of being taken care of by another actual person. A processor simply cannot replicate that kind of care. Which leaves us with this final lingering thought to take away from our explainer today. When perfection and efficiency are completely automated by machines, what is the true value of human imperfection? The smell of the walk-in fridge, the genuine, exhausted smile after a totally chaotic shift. These are the things that make the industry breathe. So, what do you think? Can an algorithm ever truly serve us? Or is the soul of hospitality something that strictly requires a beating heart? Thank you so much for exploring the H800 manual with me today.